What is up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. I don't know why we say welcome back every night, but it's just glad to be on here every single night with the viewers, always dropping in some amazing comments. John's got one right there. John is a Sooner Surge Unlimited member. What's up, Sooner Nation? Hit that like. Been missing Lori lately, and John and others, Monty, are doing a great job at telling people to hit that like.
That's right, man. How's it going? It's almost Friday. Another week gone by, closer to football season.
Ron, I heard the Storms wanted out of Oklahoma. That's what I've heard. And look, we're not here to start rumors on the Surge, but last thing I heard is the Storms wanted out of Oklahoma.
Going to go see the new movie, Twisters, Jeremy?
Absolutely. It was filmed in Sapulpa, Jay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go hit it up. Maybe it's this weekend. We'll see.
The drive-in is sold out tonight in Sapulpa, so we couldn't get out there tonight.
They have a drive-in out there?
Oh, the TP drive-in is legit.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Sooner fan says 43 days until Christmas morning.
Hey, I know what I'm doing in 42 days, Jay.
What's that?
Rudy.
Every time, right?
Rudy. Goodness, man.
TP baby.
So pumped for Rudy.
Hey, I'm ready for football season. After SEC media days, you saw today some of the last four coaches, I guess, went. I don't know what Sam Pittman was saying out in Arkansas, but they're going to embrace the hog this year, whatever that means, Jeremy. I don't know what that means.
Woo Pig Suey. Hey, Woo Pig Suey, Arkansas. You can embrace the hog all you want.
He's on the hot seat, bro. And hey, how about Lane Kiffin and Paul Feinbaum today? Did you see it?
No.
Oh, you didn't see that? Oh.
No, I just said that.
When you get off here, you need to go watch it. Lane Kiffin letting Paul have it a little bit today.
Really?
Yes. Did anybody else see it? I wonder if anybody else embrace the hog equals embrace mediocrity.
What exactly did he say, Jay?
Basically said, "What are you good at, Paul?" It's kind of the way he ended it, but
what does he have against Paul Feinbaum?
Baum said he should have been fired from Tennessee, and he did get fired. But he went off on him, dude.
Hey Jay, did you drop the link to call in tonight in the Discord?
Hunter dropped it in.
Okay, thanks, Hunter. Yeah, if someone wants to call up if they heard it and give us kind of a synopsis, that'd be great too. Yeah, Arky fans are loud. So are Missouri fans.
Yeah, and that was probably I've watched Paul Feinbaum a ton. He was almost, I don't want to say at a loss for words, but I think he was kind of surprised. I mean, it went on for a good 45 seconds, I think, to a minute maybe.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, check it out if you get a chance. So.
How soon do we get an OU Arkansas rivalry game?
I don't know. I hope in the next year or so, but is that...
It won't be next year, Jay.
No, I'm saying as soon as you can in the next year. Hey, is that the team that you think, other than Texas, in the SEC, that OU could have a, when you want to say rivalry as far as borders, I mean, that's got to be the team, right?
Yeah, I think so.
They haven't played in a long time. But...
Jay, you're not lagging on my end. Viewers, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, we're not lagging. No lagging.
Okay.
We're good.
No lag, huh?
All good. All good.
Jay, we got some good questions tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Missouri's making the case for it. And, hey, we're just going to get into it right now because we've been talking about it just through text, and on phone calls today, Jeremy, and it's a great topic. And I'm going to bring it up, and I'd love to hear Surgeaholics' takes on this, okay? Bobby brings up Missouri. Everybody knows Missouri's schedule, right? And I think a lot of people are picking them 10-2 for sure, right? But or 11-1. But I think there's a chance. I don't want to say what percentage, but there's a chance, maybe a fairly good chance, 10-2 Missouri could get left out of the playoff.
And I'm in agreement.
I know you kind of agree, but let me just bring something up here. If they go 10-2 and their losses are to Alabama and Oklahoma, and Alabama and Oklahoma end up at 9-3, going against Missouri to get in the playoff, I think Alabama and Oklahoma will have a case because you beat them head to head and your schedule's way tougher. That would put Missouri's best win against Texas A&M. I'm just saying, I don't think it's a guarantee a 10-2 Missouri gets in over a 9-3 team. I don't think it is with their schedule.
Not only, and I'm going to take it a step further. Not only is it a guarantee, it can't be a guarantee. It's probably highly likely they get left out, Jay.
And we talked about this earlier, Jeremy. I think the committee with 12 teams now, unless you're in the SEC championship game, that's 2 teams. I think the other 2 or 3, whatever they take from the SEC, if they are so close in record by 1 game and they've played each other and the schedule, it's hard because not everybody plays the same teams. I think big wins, strength of schedule are going to matter more now than they ever have.
Yeah, and Tyler, I do disagree with you a little because rivalry isn't always 2 of the best teams. It's just not. I would much rather play OU Arkansas. I'd rather see an OU Arkansas game than an OU South Carolina game.
And I did say
that's called a rivalry.
I did say borders the state. That's correct. But I don't see, like, to me, OU A&M, that's not a rivalry. You're not going to have a rivalry there. OU Arkansas, you could. OU Missouri, you could. I just don't see it. I mean, you look in the Big 12.
Cross-state rivals.
What's that?
That term is usually called cross-state rivals.
Yeah, but even in the Big 12, you had the Texas rivalry. No other team in Texas was a rivalry, even though they were a border state.
OSU.
OU Nebraska, yeah, that was.
That was a big rivalry.
Yeah.
But again, if we're going to say OU Georgia rivalry, that can't happen for about 20 years, and that means OU would have to play them like every year. The reason I said OU Arkansas is because of the history of that game.
Ron, they are licking their chops, but they don't know what they're looking for because they got Norman OU coming to Northwest Arkansas to line them up. Hey, I would love to know y'all's thoughts. 10-2 Missouri. Who on here thinks they're an absolute lock if they go 10-2? I don't know if anybody will say that.
Hey, if someone wants to call in and tell me why 10-2 Missouri's a lock, bring it. Because I can argue that one. They're not. They're not
10-2 Oklahoma lock. 10-2 Alabama lock. 10-2 Missouri, not a lock.
Correct.
Schedule-wise, you just can't.
And Jay, there's a couple of teams on that, but for sure, I mean, you look at their schedule, Murray State, Boston College, Buffalo, UMass, Vanderbilt, South Carolina. That's 6 of their games. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a weak schedule, Jeremy.
Now, John, this is interesting, okay, John? Ole Miss, I looked at their schedule, John, and theirs is almost as weak as Missouri, but it's not quite as weak because they have Georgia. They have Georgia.
But if OU and Georgia beat Ole Miss, that would put Ole Miss's best win would be, let's see here, Ole Miss. I got it right here in front of me. That would put their best win at probably LSU at home.
They don't play. Yeah, I mean,
so
they could get left out, Jay.
I think it's just going to depend on a couple. I think in those scenarios we're mentioning, I think if you look at those games, and those are games where, say, OU goes into Ole Miss and destroys them by 15 points, then, yeah, I think that's when you put those teams up together. I know Ole Miss has 2 and OU has 3 losses, but if OU beats Ole Miss by 15, I think it's going to be very interesting how the committee sits this year and how they figure all this out. It's going to be a lot.
Hey, Jimmy says, what about a 10-2 Texas, Jay? Now, here's where I'm going to –
because of the name. Because of the name.
That's what I was going to – here's where Texas differs from both Ole Miss and Missouri. It's Texas.
And, John, this is a great point. OU controls it all with their schedule. It's a very difficult schedule, but when you have that difficult schedule, it's all in your hands. You put out a good record this year, you're probably going to be in the playoff. I mean, I'm not here to say 9-3 is guaranteed a playoff. I think it is, but I'm not going to say anything is guaranteed. But I think 9-3 OU is probably getting in.
And one thing we talked about earlier too, Jay, is a 9-3 OU. Now, some of this depends on who your losses are to. I will say that. and who your victories are. But a 9-3 OU likely, more than likely, 90% probably gets in over any 9-3 team in that conference.
Oh yeah, with the schedule you have for sure. Yeah,
and OU gets in over the other 9-3s, and OU possibly gets in over the 10-2s.
How many guys? Everyone on this chat, how many 11-1 teams will there be in the SEC this year? Any?
Chester says 1 OU. I think Georgia's 11-1.
Georgia 11-1. Okay, how many 10-2 teams out of the conference?
I think it's more. I think it's more likely to have 2 10-2s than an 11-1 and a 10-2.
The way I'm leaning right now is I'm leaning 1 11-1, and that's Georgia. I'm leaning 2 10-2 teams. So that means this scenario would play out where there would be a 10-2 going against some 9-3s to get in.
Jay, earlier you said Texas's schedule is pretty weak, but like Tyler says, they do have those 4, right?
I didn't bring up Texas's schedule, did I?
Someone did when I was talking earlier.
I got Texas is right here in front of me. Let me tell you. Texas, they do got Michigan. They got
Michigan, though.
OU, Georgia. They do not play Alabama.
Yeah, okay, that's right. They don't play Bama.
So they got OU, Georgia. And then the other 2 toughest are Kentucky and A&M.
So they don't have Tennessee either, Tyler.
No.
So that's incorrect. Texas does not play those 4.
Correct.
They do not play Bama. So, but the caveat that Texas has that Ole Miss and Missouri do not have, Texas plays Michigan. It trumps everything.
So Bobby says Georgia will not lose a game, and Ole Miss goes 11-1. So you think Ole Miss has only lost to Georgia, correct, Bobby? I don't think there's any shot that happens.
Wow.
I think Ole Miss is losing 2 games. I did. And I may be totally wrong, though, but I just think they will.
And you're right, Mark. And what you said earlier, Mark, I did preface what I said on the 9-3 thing with it will depend on who you lose to and who your victors are.
Hey, Ron says we don't start rumors on it. Hey, did you hear who announced today that they'll be at the OU Tennessee game?
Who's that, Jay?
Peyton Manning.
Who cares?
Hey, it's pretty cool.
So let's look at Kim's.
Yeah.
Let's look at this scenario, Kim. Georgia 10-2, Bama 9-3, Texas 8-4, OU 9-3. Maybe if that was the case, of course, all 4 of those teams are going.
Texas isn't getting in at 9-3.
They are if they're top 4, though.
I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so?
Kyla, they're very talented, is what they are. Now, whether it meshes and they're able to do it when it counts, we'll see. But I have Ole Miss at 10-2 is what I have Ole Miss at. Do you have your playoff predictor ready, Jeremy, for later this week?
No. Jay, who did Georgia lose to last year?
Alabama.
What game was that?
SEC championship.
So, Bobby, their schedule's harder this year than last year. Georgia's schedule is tougher this year than last year, Bobby. Texas wasn't on Georgia's schedule last year. Correct?
Yeah, but outside of Texas and Bama, it's pretty.
Well, who they play last year besides Bama and Ole Miss?
I think Bobby's talking about Ole Miss.
Earlier,
I'm with you. Georgia. I'm with you. You have to prove it to me. Missouri especially, too. Both those teams. Now, they may be really good, but they got to prove it. What's up, Eric? How are you tonight?
Eric, no one said, you had chemistry with their O-line. And I think what the deal is I don't know if you've heard all of this, Eric, but we're talking about a 10-2 Missouri is not a lock over a 9-3 OU. Not a lock at all. In fact, I think OU gets in over a 10-2 Missouri if they win the games, have 3 if their 3 losses are to better teams if they have.
In all these scenarios we're talking about with 10-2 versus 9-3, the 9-3 has to beat the 10-2 head up.
Well, that's a given, Jay. That's what I'm. Yes, absolutely.
That has to happen, or you have no shot. So
correct. But the thing is, Missouri's in a little bit of a danger zone, Jay. If they get 2 losses, they're probably, in my opinion, the only team in a danger zone at 10-2. No other team in this conference probably in a danger zone.
Ole Miss could be.
Ole Miss is the only other one. Tennessee, I looked at theirs again. They're in at 10-2.
Did you know that Tennessee only leaves the state of Tennessee like 3 times?
Yeah, they play like 5 straight games in Knoxville.
Well, they play out of the 12 games, I think they play 8 in Tennessee.
It's unbelievable, Jay. It's unbelievable. Sooner fan, yeah, he was embarrassed. First off, so did Bryson DeChambeau.
And so did Rory. So Rory was 7 over, I believe.
Eric, so let's say this. Of course, we're prefacing this with saying Missouri's 2 losses are to Bama and OU, which means their best win. They got Murray State, Boston College, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, UMass. Their best win would likely be A&M or Auburn. OU's losses, Jay. Let's say OU loses.
He's got it. Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss.
So OU's best wins would be Missouri,
LSU. Who else?
In that scenario, Jay.
Tennessee.
In that scenario, I still think they get in over Missouri because they beat them.
In that scenario,
they beat them.
It would be tougher in that scenario. I think the Bama game is a huge game for Oklahoma that they need to win. I think you're better off beating Texas or Alabama and losing the likes of LSU than losing those games and beating LSU. Does that make sense? I think you got to have the big wins on your resume this year. I think you do.
By the way, Tiger doesn't play in any other tournaments. Tiger's the greatest of all time. I hope he keeps playing until he's 70.
Yeah, Tiger's problem to me right now, he can still swing the golf club. His problem is he's not playing enough tournaments.
You got to play more.
He's got to play more, or he's not going to win anything.
Yeah, Eric, I mean, I agree. It's Ole Miss and Missouri are the 2 teams that really cannot afford 3. Now, I'm going to say this. Sooner fan, because this is a great question. Hunter and I were talking about this earlier. The tiebreaker in the SEC means diddly squat unless it's to get you to the SEC championship game. Here's what I mean. If Georgia goes 11-1 and Texas goes 10-2, they are in the SEC title game. If there are 6 teams at 9-3, Jay, 6 tied at 9-3, the College Football Playoff Committee is not going to see who won the tiebreaker and is ranked 3rd in the SEC. Not going to matter. They're going to look at all their strength of schedule at 9-3 and say, and who they beat, and that team's going to go. That is what I'm saying. It will not matter the tiebreakers at 9-3. Where you fall in the standings, no one cares if you have the same record unless you're going to the SEC championship game.
I can agree with that. And Kyla says, what's the most SEC teams that go to the playoff? I think 5's the most.
5's the most.
No chance you're getting more than 5. And probably going to be more like 4, probably. Chester says, I would say 9-3 doesn't get us in if we lose the LSU game. I think 9-3 with Oklahoma's schedule. Here's the kicker though. If Missouri and Ole Miss are ahead of you, you need your wins to be against those teams if they're ranked ahead of you. I think
right.
That's
and Chester, let's say OU loses to LSU, Bama, and Tennessee. That means they beat Ole Miss, Texas, and Missouri. They're in.
Yeah, it's going to come down to who you beat. And I think you're going to see more of a scenario kind of like NCAA basketball and how they do the selection for the team sometimes when they do the seeding there. And it's based off, they look a lot at not only loss, they look a lot about who you beat. I think who you beat is going to be a big deal in the SEC.
And I agree, winning at the end matters. But
that's a great point. I think who brought it up with LSU down here?
The timing.
The timing of LSU. And if that's the last game of the year, if you're sitting at 9-2 going into that last game and you lose, that could hurt you more though, Jeremy. I mean, there's so many scenarios right now, man. That's what's going
And
to make
Chester,
it so freaking fun, dude.
Chester, here's what I'm going to say, Chester. The college football playoff, this is the first year that 12's been in here. They have got to set a precedent. And here's what I mean. Feels weird saying it, but if the SEC is far and away the best conference, you cannot set a precedent and only put 3 teams in this conference in. They have to get 4 teams.
All right, they're getting 4 teams.
I don't care if they beat each other up. They got to get 4.
They're getting 4 teams. How? Give me a scenario where they wouldn't get 4, Jeremy.
I'll give you one, Jay. Let's say Texas and Georgia, SEC title game, and let's say 4 other teams. Let's say 2 teams are at 9-3, 2 at 8-4. Wait, but in the Big Ten, let's say the Big Ten's got 4 with less than 3 losses, Jay.
Okay, that's still only 7 teams.
I'm just saying.
I mean, you in that scenario for the SEC to only get 3, you're going to have the Big 12 or ACC get 2 or 3 teams in.
Correct.
That's the only way that works out.
Travesty. Mark says he gets a free hat and shirt from us when the SEC doesn't get 5 in. I remember this, Jay. And
I remember that.
Hey, speaking of giveaways, while we're at it, the OU Houston ticket giveaway will be announced on August 16th. Eric's still in the lead at 5 with his name on the wheel 5 times. If you have signed up for the fanstop.com Shirt of the Month Club, which you should because it's unbelievable, you get 10% off if you use code SURGE. Email us at ousportsroundup@gmail.com so we can verify you have joined the Shirt of the Month Club. Your name will get on 7 more times. I got the trivia question right now for tonight. This is to get your name on there another time. You ready for it, Sooner Nation? Here we go. Speaking of Missouri, I hate to talk about Missouri, but I'm going to talk about it. The last time OU played Missouri, there was a player on Missouri, Jay, quarterback that has the same name as a current college football coach. Who is it?
I have no clue, man. You gonna give us,
a lot of people would say pretty good coach.
You going to give us a conference he coaches in?
Nope. Someone will get it. Surgeaholics rule.
Eric needs those tickets. Harder to come down from Seattle, he says.
That's true. I'll sit here and wait for the answers. I'm waiting. A college football coach, same name as this quarterback from Missouri that played against OU, lost to OU that year back in 2011. They lost 38-28. You remember? No, it's not Gabbert. Jay, you remember Jazz Reynolds? He had a pretty good game that game, I remember.
I remember Jazz Reynolds, not Gabbert.
Jazzy. Trent Rattery. Dom Whaley. No, I don't know any coach named Chase Daniels. Nope, not it. I got it. What a banger of a question tonight. Not Charlie Strong. Not Charlie Strong. It is the exact same name as a current, and I'll say this, in a Power 5 conference. How about that, Jay? There it is, Bobby. Bobby is back getting the trivia. James Franklin.
That's right. Bobby's back, and I do not even remember James Franklin as a quarterback. It's not the same one, but I'm just saying I don't remember him.
Yeah, he was a quarterback, more of a runner. Bobby now has his name 3 times for being a Sooner Surge Unlimited member, and he's getting another one right here, so his name will be on there 4 times right now on the wheel.
Yeah.
Is it the Will of Doom? No, it's the Will of Fun.
Did you see where Stoops got drafted by his dad? The rights to.
That's if he doesn't land on the team. Hey, they did have a receiver, Franklin. It's not the same guy. Not the same guy. I believe it was a receiver that they had there too. If you want to become a Sooner Surge Unlimited member like John or Mark or Eric or Bobby or Chester or Monty or all those that are on there, the link is in the description of the video.
Hey, how about I get another trivia right here? Off the top of my head, if it's right, I'll give you a point.
Oh, bring us another 2 trivias one night.
Former Missouri wide receiver that transferred to Oklahoma. Highly touted. Do you know it?
That transferred to OU?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay. That's another point if somebody can get it.
I actually thought of it when they were talking about Franklin.
That's when I thought of it, Jeremy. Nice. That's when I thought of it.
Twins think alike.
Former Missouri receiver that transferred to Oklahoma. There it is, Mark. Dorial Green Beckham.
No.
Yes, that's
He
what
did
I'm
not transfer to OU.
That's who I'm going. Yes, he did.
I thought he transferred to Missouri. He was recruited by OU, never got on campus. Am I wrong?
It was Beckham, dude.
I don't think Doyle Green Beckham ever. He didn't play down at OU.
He didn't pan out. No, he didn't.
No, he never suited up, Jay.
He never did. I know.
I think it was the COVID years one.
No, he didn't play. I'm just saying
he wasn't on the team, Jay.
But he transferred. Good job,
I don't know
Mark.
if he ever got to campus.
Good job, Mark. Way to go, Mark.
Mark's got 2 trivia questions.
Bobby got the first one tonight. Mark's
gotten 2. He's got 4. Yeah. It wasn't COVID.
COVID's been around a long time, but not 15 years.
Well, I'm pretty sure he never stepped foot on Norman.
He never played it down.
I don't think he ever got on campus, Jay.
He got on campus. Yes, he did. I think he got injured and decided he was going to sit out for the NFL, if I remember right.
Hey, Jay, who was the receiver that went to the Eagles from Missouri that was really good? Macklin.
Jeremy Macklin. I think Beckham got injured and said, I'm just going to go play in the NFL.
Jeremy Macklin was recruited by OU, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure he was, but
yeah. Danny says he was scout team. I didn't even know he was on the team, okay? If any Surgeaholics on the Discord members want to call in tonight, get your name on there twice if you're the only one. Jay, let me give you, again, I'm going to read this. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to say it. Murray State, Buffalo, Vanderbilt, UMass, Boston College, South Carolina. That's Missouri.
I don't know why you're reading their non-conference schedule. Everybody knows it's weak.
Tennessee at least goes to NC State.
Bobby says he got in trouble. They put him on the scout team. All I know is I remember the hype on sports radio about him going to Oklahoma. They were pumped.
You know what I'm pumped about, Jay?
What?
You know what I'm pumped about?
What's that?
Tomorrow night, I'm coming for you guys. I'm coming for you guys. The Germinator will be here. Surgeaholics versus the Germinator. First time tomorrow.
You better be ready. I think they're going to get you.
If you're a Sooner Surge Unlimited member, tomorrow morning in the Discord, Jason and Hunter, someone's going to drop a topic in there that you're going to try to present an argument against me tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's some Matt, this is a great point. That's the real downer when you have a bad schedule, is your fans kind of get screwed out of watching good competition. And you're right about that. But, I mean, that's a good point. And OU schedule for home, man, Tennessee at home, Alabama at home, that's some good games.
John, I love OU's bye week spots.
Do you?
I absolutely do. Hey, and I want to go back to what someone just said. I was going to ask someone. I'm going to ask another trivia question, Jay.
Oh, wow. Here we go.
First, let me ask, Hunter, are you writing these down for tonight so I can add them to the will? Or Jay?
I'll remember Mark and Bobby. I got it.
Bobby and Mark.
Bobby and Mark, sorry.
Yeah. Here's another trivia question. OU's running back that year was a walk-on. Everyone knows who it was. It was Dom Whaley. Everyone talked about Adrian Peterson. No one talked about Dom Whaley when he came on campus because he was a walk-on. But there was another guy there, Jay, on campus that everyone was talking about as an AD guy. Who was it? Dom Whaley stole the show, but there's a 5-star on campus that people were, ooh. He left.
Do that again.
Ooh, who was it? Nope, it wasn't Keith Ford, but he did go to the same team Keith Ford went to. Was not, no one ever went, ooh, over Jacob Gutierrez, I don't think. Bobby gets another one. It was Brandon Williams.
I don't remember people go goo-goo gaga over him.
People went goo-goo gaga over Brandon Williams and Jeremy Calhoun for that matter.
Hey, Chad, thanks so much for the super. Appreciate it big time. Means a lot. You are correct. OU Tennessee it'll be elite. It'll be good. What time's that game going to kick, Jeremy? What do you think?
I have a feeling it's going to be 2:30, which I'm great with. I will say this. I will say this. It's, to me, Chad, and again, thank you for the super. We appreciate anyone who gives supers on here. It helps our channel. Really, liking and commenting helps our channel a lot too. But Chad, I think the OU Tennessee game, Jay, is this bad to say? It's kind of the appetizer. It's not the main dish, but it's gonna help that palate. It's gonna help that palate. But then you're going to want more. That's what I think the OU Tennessee game.
I disagree. If that's not your main dish, you're going to lose that game.
I'm not talking about the team's main. I'm talking about fans, bud.
That's a pretty good game in there. It's pretty big.
It's an appetizer, Jay.
It's a main dish for me. Hey, Chuck.
Whoa, time out.
Chuck.
Jason.
Real quick, let me get to Chuck. You can hold that thought. Appreciate you, Chuck. Means a lot. And you know what? I just don't believe in foul language, so I'm not going to use foul language. You know why? You can use words that pretty much mean the same thing that aren't foul language. So, but appreciate you saying that. Appreciate that you noticed.
Jay.
Yeah, go ahead, Jerem.
And Chuck, I will say we try to represent Christ best we can. We're both believers. Jay, let me say this. If you just sat there and said that Tennessee is the main dish, the main course, I've got to question your fandom.
I didn't say the main course. I said a main course. It's a main dish.
You said it's the game for you.
I said it's a main dish. Wow. It's a main dish.
No, it's an appetizer, Jay.
No, it's not.
If it was a road game, it can be considered a main dish. That's an appetizer.
I don't understand. So what's the main dish? Alabama at home? That's the only main dish?
That's one of them. LSU on the road? LSU on the road is a main course.
So you're saying Missouri over Tennessee?
I didn't say Missouri.
Tennessee's
I didn't say Missouri.
I
didn't say Missouri.
That's what you just said.
I said LSU. Say Missouri.
I agree with this.
Hey, Missouri's a dessert. We're going to eat up that dessert. That's what that is.
John says anyone going to the meetup on August 3rd. I will not be there. I know a lot of Sooner fans will be, I'm sure, though. John. Kyla, I agree with you, but at the same time, I also agree with Mark. I think you're going to know a lot. And I know you can't judge them for sure for the whole year, but I think you'll know after the Tennessee game if they're good enough up front to hang in there and go 9-3. I think you'll know right off the bat against Tennessee, because Tennessee guys, defensive line might be the best defensive line in the SEC.
I agree, Jay. Their secondary is atrocious, but here's what I'm going to say. I 100% agree with Mark, and here's why, Kyla. We can't get into this mindset of thinking, well, that was it's OU. If you're going to struggle against Tennessee, it's not going to be a good outcome. You've got to beat Kansas. You got to beat Tennessee and beat them handily.
Yeah, and gone are the days of, hey, you know what? You get by Texas, you can kind of get things together because you don't play as good at teams. There's no weeks off anymore. And last year they didn't have weeks off. You saw it, OSU and Kansas. But you don't have time to mesh. I think once you get to the Tennessee game, if you're not meshed as an offensive line unit, I think it's going to be a very long year. I think you have to be ready by then.
Well, we know Missouri will be ready to go by their 8th game of the year because they don't play anybody.
Hey, and I'll say this too. I would be totally fine in the first 3 games if the starting offensive line play into the second half more than other players just to keep getting reps. I think it's important for them.
I saw a depth chart. I don't even know who put it out. It was someone. I'm sorry. I don't see Michael Tarquin as starting tackle.
Don't either. I heard this too. I don't see Tarquin or Spencer Brown helping at all this year. Do you?
Possibly if there's injuries. That's the only way.
That's what I'm saying. To me, that'd be the only way.
Yeah, and Hunter, OU's non-con, while it's not the best non-con out there, Tulane and Houston are not Buffalo. They're not Murray State. They're not UMass.
They're games you should win by probably 20 points.
I'm hoping 4 touchdowns, yeah.
So, Dalpo says, I think we only have 2 games on the schedule that aren't possible losses. I agree with a few things I've seen on this is that OU has games where they can win and they have games they can lose. I don't think they're ruled out of any games. I don't think they're ruled out of games they can lose. I would agree with that.
I disagree a little.
In what way?
I mean, the old adage is you lose any night you go out there, but it's OU. You shouldn't be losing to some of those teams.
That's what I'm saying.
And Mark, I hate to. Lincoln Riley was in Norman, and I'm going to say this, and we were all there. We are all in the same boat that these fans are. And how many times did you hear we're close, and it just bugged the crap out of you?
Yeah.
To me, he's not someone, in my opinion, again, a huge program guy. It's hard to get behind him in some of those things.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, Bobby, those 5 you mentioned, I would be absolutely perfect with. I think that's when looking at what they got, that might be the best 5. I think I would agree with that. And you know what I like about that lineup there is you got 2 young ones in Sexton and Taylor, and then you got 3 experienced guys in Fabechi, Hickman, and Hatchie. I think that's a pretty good blend.
And Jay, if you look at that starting 5 there, if that's it, what do they not have that you need? Meshing. I mean, they've got elite size. They've got elite size, Jay.
But I think in that scenario, I think my only concern, just because of playing time and not playing much, would be Taylor on the outside.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he hasn't played much, but meshing.
Yeah. But he's
guys tomorrow night. Hey, if you're a Sooner Surge Unlimited member, you got to call in tomorrow night. It's going to be at the end of the live, just like right now would be, and we'll start the calls where you're going to get a time to argue a topic. Ready for it, Jay?
Hope you're ready to bring it. I bet they'll be bringing it.
I bring it every night. You know who else does? The Surgeaholics. That's what I say. But it's getting closer. That is a fact.
Hey,
it will be here quicker than you think it will be.
Hey, I just want to fan stop. If you haven't checked it out, I think you have to sign up by the 20th to get your next month's shirt. Something like that. So make sure you go to thefanstop.com, check them out. Go ahead, sign up for that shirt of the month, because then you'll get your August shirt and you'll be ready to roll with your September shirt for games. Sign up for it. It's elite, officially licensed merchandise. So,
and if you do sign up for it, email us so we can confirm it, and you get your name 7 times on the wheel for the OU Houston tickets. And the Fan Stop has been so gracious in helping us do this. And those seats are very, very good seats down low. Okay. Yeah. Appreciate it. Hit the like John said. Thanks, Chad Gamble, for the super tonight. We appreciate those supers. We appreciate the comments, and we appreciate the likes, and we appreciate you all. We'll see you tomorrow night for a fantastic Friday night special.